Hello everyone, this is Dr.R.KOHILA, Assistant Professor of English, Bharathiyar Arts and Science College for Women, DEVIYAKURICHI. Now we are going to see about the play The Spanish Tragedy by Thomas Keats. Now we are going to see about Thomas Keats. He was a cynic and playwright and he has written a Spanish tragedy. It was a revenge play. So he has written many plays and works, but this is the first one. Spanish tragedy is a play within play. It is a tragedy. He was born in 6th November 1558 at the register of Paris register. It was recorded. But he was baptized on the 6th November and then he was buried in August 1594, and then he was belonged to Elizabethan dramatist, that is he was pre-romantic period, and then his father, he was a scrivener, that he was a writer and he has written many letters, and then Thomas Keats, he was entered in Merchant Tailors School, that he was entered in 1565, he was entered into the Tailor Merchant School. His father, he was a writer, scrivener, that he has scribed, that is he has written many letters, and then Thomas Keats, he was followed that, and he was important playwright, but he was known very little to that period. He was one of university beats. In university beats 7 members are there, but he was considered among them very little one. And then his famous plays, or that is he was translated many plays, in that particularly Torquato Tasso's Parody Family Go, it was translated by him, and then Robert Gournier's Cornelia, this play also translated by Thomas Keats, and he was included in the play, in the Spanish tragedy Solomon and Persida. The Solomon Persida, it was a play within play. He has given the title for that play within the play. And then King Lear, that was adapted by Shakespeare, he uses the resource for that, and Edward III also he has written. And then his Your Hamlet, that was taken by Shakespeare for his play Hamlet. So in 1587 he was worked in the Queen's court, and then he was arrested on 11th May in 1593 because in the provincial cell they was arrested because they received some complaint from this side, and then after that they realized he has not written any document in that, because in his room they found a letter. In that letter he has written something about the court, but later they realized the letter was written by Christopher Marlowe, so that he was released, and then he was moved to England, and then he was died at the age of 35. He was died at the age of 35. He was very young, and then his notable works are very few only. Plot summary of the play The Spanish Tragedy. The play begins with the ghost, Dan Andrea's ghost. He was slain in the battlefield by Balthasar. So Spanish king, he received the news, that is Dan Andrea, he was died in the battlefield, and then Balthasar was imprisoned. Balthasar, he is the son of Viceroy of Portugal, and then Lorenzo Horatio, they imprisoned Balthasar, and then in Spanish court they celebrated their victory. And then Belimria, she was fallen in love with Dan Andrea. So after received the news, the death of Dan Andrea, she wants to take a revenge towards Balthasar and then Lorenzo. And then she fall in love with Horatio, and then Balthasar also fall in love with Belimria. So here the triangle love leads the play, and then the triangle love it leads to the death of Horatio. Horatio also died because Balthasar and Lorenzo they planned and then murdered. He was murdered by Bedringano. Bedringano is the servant of Belimria and then Lorenzo. So after the news, the death news received by Horatio's father, Hieronima, he wants to take a revenge. So when the king of Spain and then Viceroy of Portugal, they arranged the marriage between Belimria and then Balthasar, they want to celebrate their marriage functions. So before the night, they are enacted the play on the stage. So in the play, they celebrated the marriage function through the play within the play. So in the play within the play, the play titled Solomon and Persida, So in this the main characters are Solomon and Persida. The main characters are Solomon, Persida, that is Lorenzo, Balthasar, and then Hieronima, Bellimbria. So these are the characters enacted the play, and then all the characters died, that is murdered each other because the vengeance, they want to take the revenge. Dan, Andrea, the ghost, and then the revenge, they are watching entire drama from beginning to the end. So the play ends with a tragedy. Themes of the play: revenge, love, and death. So the revenge is the main concept in the play, because Dan Andrea, he wants to take a revenge for his death. So through the character of Horatio, he wants to take the revenge, but unfortunately he also died. At the end of the play, his father, Horatio's father, he is taking the revenge with Bellimbria, and then through the play, within play, they are taking the revenge. And love, it is triangle love, because in the beginning Dan Andrea and Bellimbria, they are fallen in love with each other. After the death of Dan Andrea, Horatio and Bellimbria, they are fallen in love with each other. So after that, Balthasar, he wants to love her, and then he wants to marry her. Next, the death, play within play, the persons are died because he wants to take a revenge. Hieronymus, revenge, they are died. The characters, the main characters in the play are Hieronima. Hieronima, he was the servant, that is, he was the marshal to the king of Spanish, and then Bellimbria is the daughter of the Duke of Castle, and also she is the sister of Lorenzo. Lorenzo is the son of the Duke of Castle, and then Balthasar, he is the prince of Portugal Viceroy, and then he kills Dan Andrea in the battlefield, and then Horatio, he is the son of Hieronima. After the death of Dan Andrea, Horatio and then Bellimbria, they are fallen love with each other, and then ghost of Andrea, he is the very close to Horatio, and then he was slain in the battlefield. The minor characters in the play, revenge, the revenge is a spirit accompanies with the ghost Dan Andrea, and then Isabella is the mother of Horatio and then wife of Hieronima. After the death of Horatio, Isabella became mad, and then the king, he is Spanish king, he was the Spanish king, and then brother of the Duke of Castle. The viceroy, he is the king of Portugal, and then father of Balthasar. Bedringano is the Bellimbria's servant, and then Cerberin, he is the servant of Balthasar. Act 1. So in the Act 1, the first scene starts with a prologue. In the prologue, the conversation between revenge and then ghost of Andrea, because the ghost of Andrea, he was slain in the battlefield, so that he is narrating all the stories to revenge. Hereafter, they are going to take revenge in the real world. In the next scene, King of Spain, he hears the victory of Spanish, and then Balthasar, he was arrested by Lorenzo and Horatio. In the third scene, the first act, Villupo, he tricks a play. That is, Villupo is a servant to Portugal Viceroy, and then he wants to get a reward, so that he gives a false statement that Alexandro is the other servant in Portugal court, and then he gives a false statement that Alexandro is murdered Balthasar in the battlefield, but the statement is wrong. But in the fourth scene, Bellimbria, that is Lorenzo's sister, she comes to know that news that Dan Andrea, he was slain in the battlefield by Balthasar. So she wants to take a revenge towards Balthasar and then Lorenzo, so that she has fallen in love with Horatio to take a revenge, accompanied him. And then Bellimbria and Balthasar, they wants to reunite, that is Lorenzo and Balthasar, they decided, and then Portugal ambassador arrives there in the end of the fourth scene in the first act. In the fifth scene, the first act, banquet arranged in the Spain court, because the king of Spain, he arranged the banquet for the celebration of victory in the battlefield. So that time ambassador from the Portugal, he comes there and he has seen that is Balthasar is alive and he was well there. And then the Revenge and Andrea, they are just watching the entire story in the first act. Second act, Lorenzo and Balthasar, they are discussing about Bellimbria's design in the Balthasar, and then Lorenzo, he bribes the threatens of Bedrengano. That is Bedrengano in the previous act, he involved in the love matter of Bellimbria and then Don Andrea, so that the father of Bellimbria, he gives punishment to him. So that time Lorenzo, he consoles him and saves his life from the punishment. So that now Lorenzo, he wants help from Bedrengano. That is now Bellimbria and then Horatio, they are fallen love with each other, so that he wants to decide, that is Balthasar and then Lorenzo, they want kill Horatio, so that accompanied the page as a servant to kill that person. And then Lorenzo and Balthasar, they discovered, that is Bellimbria and then Horatio, they are making love in the garden. And then Bellimbria, she was there that time. Horatio, he was hanged in that tree. That is when she comes to know that news, Bellimbria, she has written a letter in the kerchief, that is the bloody kerchief. She has thrown out the letter to Hieronima. And then Hieronima and Isabella, they discovered the dead body of Horatio. That is Horatio, he was hanged on the tree. And then Andrea just is watching the entire things in that scene. The third act starts with a Portugal court, that is the viceroy he is ready to give the punishment, that is the death punishment to Alexandro, because he was convicted by Villupo, that is Alexandro is the murderer, like that. And then when they are ready to give the punishment, that time the ambassador, he comes from the Spanish court, and then he announced, that is Balthasar, he was alive there, and they are arranged marriage between Balthasar and then Bellimbria. So now the viceroy, he comes to understand that Villupo, he tricks that play, and then Villupo, he gets a reward for that punishment. And then the second scene, Hieronima, he was mourning for the death of his son Horatio, and then he finds the letter, that is the previous act, Bellimbria, she has written the letter in her kerchief, that is the bloody kerchief. Now he finds that letter, and then he wants to take a revenge towards Lorenzo and Bedrengano, but that time he never know that. But he has the suspicions only about Balthasar's servant. And the next scene, he comes to know, that is Bedrengano and then Cerberine, they are arranging everything for the death of Horatio. And then in the next fourth scene, Balthasar and Lorenzo, they believe Bedrengano is alive, means he will let know everything to the Hieronima, like that. So that Balthasar and Lorenzo, they murdered Bedrengano. So when Bedrengano, he was arrested in the beginning. When he was arrested, a boy, he brings a box to the servant, because in that box he gives a letter, that is Bedrengano, he has never done anything like that, he has written in that letter. Bedrengano also believed that. But Bedrengano, he was stand on the stage to get the punishment, that is a murder punishment, a death punishment. That time Hieronima, he is a marshal, he has to give the punishment to Bedrengano. So that time he opens the box, but in that box there is nothing. Before that, the boy, he comes to know that they want to take a revenge towards Bedrengano. So now Bedrengano also get the punishment, he hanged in the imprisoned, and then Hieronima, he finds out a letter from his box. So in that letter he stated that that Balthasar and Lorenzo, they joined together and they killed Dan Andrea in the battlefield, and then Horatio in the garden. So he comes to know everything now. So now he wants to take a revenge. So Bellimbria also reflects that position. That is Bellimbria, she also wants to take a revenge, the death of Horatio. So now Lorenzo and Balthasar, they persuade Belimbria to get a marriage with Balthasar. So the two Portuguese gentlemen, they are arrived from Portugal. They want to enjoy the celebration of the marriage between Belimbria and then Balthasar. This 12th son, Hieronima, he reflects of whether he wants to kill the persons, that is Lorenzo and Balthasar. He is just decides himself, and then Belimbria also joined with him. And then they planned to murder these persons. So they want to enact a play on the stage. So that Hieronima, he gives the story to the Portugal king and then Spanish king. That is the story they are going to enact on the stage for their marriage functions. But in the beginning, Balthasar and then Lorenzo, they avoid it because it is a tragedy. So they are going to celebrate the marriage function, so that they want some comedy enacted in the stage. But Hieronima and Belimbria, they stated that it is a good tragedy story, so they want to already he has written this story for another marriage function. So now they are ready with this story, like that he gives that statement. The meanwhile, Isabella, that is mother of Horatio, she has stabbed herself because she wants to take a revenge towards Balthasar and Lorenzo. But inability of Isabella, she stabs herself, so that Hieronima, he wants to take a revenge. Fourth act, Hieronima, he arranges everything on the stage, that is Belimbria, Balthasar and Lorenzo. These are the four main characters. So the play's name, the revenge name, Solomon and Persida. They are going a play within a play. So the play within a play's name is Solomon and Persida. So in that Solomon's, here the Solomon acted as Balthasar, and then Persida is Belimbria, and then Lorenzo, he becomes a knight, and then Marcel, that is Hieronima, he also acted as a knight in this. So in this play within play, they want to take a revenge. So that the knight, that is the Marcel, he gives a statement to the Lorenzo, that is Balthasar and Lorenzo here acted as a knight and then Solomon. So the Solomon fall in love with the Belimbria, that is Persida, and then Lorenzo, he wants to get married with Persida. So that the knight Marcel, he gives a true statement to the Solomon, that is Lorenzo, he is going to get married Persida, like that. So Solomon and then the Marcel, the knight Lorenzo, they are slain each other and they are killed, that is they are murdered each other. And then Persida is Belimbria, she also stabs herself. So after the death of Solomon and then the knight, that is the real characters are Balthasar and Lorenzo, they are died, and then Belimbria also stabs herself, and then they are enjoying the play because they thought the audiences and then king of Spanish and then king of Portugal, they are thought it as a just a tragedy, that is they are enacting the play like that, but they are really killed each other. So when they are understand the situation, they comes to stage, and then Hieronima, he cuts his tongue because he never let know anything to others because he wants to take the revenge, no? So he consults everything, and then the ghost and then revenge, they are watching everything. At last the ghost Andrea, he was very happy, and then revenge and ghost, they are moved to the underworld again. So the drama, it ended with revenge, that is a play within play, it ended with revenge. So it is a tragedy, he has written a good tragedy in then Senecan time, that is a pre-romantic period, he has written a good play. I think you understand well this play. This is a Senecan play written by Thomas Head. I hope you understood very well. We will meet on the next topic. Thank you.